Hello. Can you hear me? Sound check, sound check. Great, thank you. Welcome to tonight's stream. Hope you're good. Loud and clear. Thank you. How are you guys doing today? Start with a remote corp. We are mixed. Oh my god. Sound check. For Killas. Thank you for the subscription. And I saw quite a few going in as well. Before I started here, Nightmare Shell, Hold the Holder. No, hold the honor. Thank you very much for your subscriptions. 40 FPS. I mean, it fully depends on where you are in the world, right? We have some cities are quite bad performance-wise. Out in the wild, it's much better. But yes, we have quite a few areas that we are optimizing, moving over to Unreal 5. But yeah, you know, the baseline is pretty good, minus a few cities. You're really adding ads? No, I don't run any ads. Never done. So yeah, today I wanted to show you, like as I said last stream, I was trying to get a little sneak peek, work in progress from our weather system, and I have to say that I am quite in shock. I've never seen an MMO with this depth of weather effects. And not only that, there's so much going on under the surface. The weather system is quite advanced and one of a kind. And as many of you know already, it's connected to the magic school, elementalism. So not only do we have a very hyper-realistic weather biome system in Maryland, you're also able to affect them as a elementalist mage. So I have a little sneak peek for you to show today, because we actually moved our weather patch earlier. I don't know if you have watched the roadmap, but we did a ninja update recently. So now we have the weather system one sprint earlier. Weather. Sneak peek in engine or screenshots? Better. I put together a little cycle, a video from the game that we have set up the weather system in. So I'm gonna actually show you a video, a cycle, and I can explain a little bit what's going on the surface. Like I said, it's not just for show. There's a lot of system tied to this, so it's really deep and really cool and interesting. Or you can just ignore it and run on your own, ignoring it, obviously. But what's going to be very interesting, so now when I've been looking at and working with the weather system, going back and looking in our live game, everything is so clean and clear. There's obviously no effect going on, right? So this has a huge, really exciting game impact, where obviously the players have to, you know, adapt to the different states also, which spices things up quite a lot. And yeah, finally we got the patch out. Obviously, as you know, yesterday we did a hot fix today, and things are looking good. People are happy playing, and we are collecting those reports that have disconnection issues to the game server. There may be specific routing tiers towards the server that are affected. I mean, when we set this up, obviously we have a good threshold that makes it very apparent that something goes completely wrong. And we have people playing in Asia, Australia, Canada, US, all over the world, right? And we have no issues specifically going worldwide when it comes to higher ping around 300 plus something. So there's no hard threshold, you know, if you hit 300 ms, that just doesn't mean equal that you always get disconnected. There's several steps, obviously, that that it goes through to make sure that something is going very wrong here. So we're collecting that data now. We're logging all those disconnects since the patch. Mads? What do you mean, Mads? Hope there'd be more blood and it look better once UF5 comes out. I mean, sure. So we have a very cool mercy mode finishing system that we haven't really moved forward in or expanded on, but we do plan to add quite a lot more there, where you can actually decapitate limbs and so on. So obviously there would be more of that. It's just that we have a prioritized order, and of course that's cool and nice, but we need to deliver some main areas before we can start adding more juice like that. Right now these ones changed are really nice. Yeah, we got overwhelmingly positive feedback. That obviously that's a great impact for the players, so that's awesome to hear. New Zealand has been removed from the game. No, there's no specific country or such. It doesn't work like that. Like I said, there's specific routing issues most likely. It could also be temporarily. I'm Australian with 300 ping and haven't had DC since patch. Yeah, exactly. So worldwide we have the highest ping, normal highest ping without any disconnect. So obviously there's something specific going on, right? And that's what we're trying to take a better look at based on the logs. How does EU5 affect the weather system? How come you're implementing weather before in 5? So we have built a system that works pretty much in both engines. So now when we are implementing it, making it work how we want in Unreal 5, we already support the same functions in Unreal 5. So that's why. Obviously it's going to look a little bit different visually wise and look even more impressive. But I can tell you, we squeezed the crap out of Unreal Engine 4. I doubt you will find much better looking weather effects in this type of game when it comes to Unreal 4. So I'm very impressed. You know, when I saw it, I was just wowed. And you're gonna see a taste of that soon also. My opinion, should focus on making the game smooth. A lot of stutters. Yeah, we are full aware of the stutters. We talked about it many times, right? So there are several areas, such as cities. Meduli is a good example where performance isn't great. So you have pretty poor baseline performance there until you leave that area. There are several locations like that. So we're optimizing those. And then the main thing when it comes to stuttering is level streaming. And that's something we are rebuilding for Unreal 5 to remove them completely. Yeah, like we said, the stutters have been there since day one. We're fully aware of that. And Short Row, thank you for the subscription. The $2 award sent your Christmas gift. Thank you very much. We're fully aware of the stutters. We have talked about the level streaming issues for quite a while, and we are finally addressing it. So we're working on that, which should be fully resolved, if not, you know, greatly improved in Unreal Engine 5. We say elementalism in this video. No, but what you will see is kind of what elementalists can do. So you're going to see a cycle of the different types of weather effects we have in the game right now so far. There may be tweaks still and some additional effects. And what you are able to do as an elementalist is that you can change the weather. There are three core elements to a weather zone, which is wind, temperature, and humidity. And as an elementalist, you can manipulate each of these three parts, which will allow you to control the weather in different ways. Close enough. You know what I mean. So what you will see in this video is starting from a sunny, calm day, just like we have 99% of the time in live right now. And then it will cycle through getting more wind, more cloud, rain, heavier rain. And then you can imagine an elementalist changing the temperature in that zone from positive warm temperatures to minus degrees. And that's when you will see chaotic changes in the weather. You can guess what happens at that point when it goes from hot rain to ice cold rain. But the weather is client-sided? Absolutely not. This is server-sided. It's a huge system in this MMO game. So it will have a very exciting impact in the game overall. Just look awesome. Just like many other AAA games that have amazing weather effects. And then obviously the elementalist can make use of the different temperatures, wind, humidity, and access high-powered spells if the requirements are met. And that's why they can also affect them. When I'm going to implement the weather system. So as you can look at our roadmap, it's on the roadmap and it's one sprint earlier. So sprint 3, if I'm not mistaken. And obviously the next patch is sprint 2, so we're getting quite close. Looking to get rid of how much of the game is client-side. What I mean, we only have minimum non-impact parts on the client side. Everything that is key important required for gameplay is obviously on the server side or determined by the server check. And obviously since the weather system, now everyone gonna obviously see the exact same effects. And since you can have, depending on your elementalist skills, you will be able to change this weather so you can use them. So obviously, if there's a siege going on, the defenders may want to have a different type of weather depending on the enemy's elementalists attacking to control that weather and also preventing some spells from being cast at that area. Stop making mages even more OP. Alright. So let me see if we can if I can get that video loaded I'm talking about to show you what I'm talking about. Lumens make game more low FPS. Can we turn off Lumen, please? And Nave is right. Please remove client side. What do you mean with client side? Gameplay functions is obvious on the server, right? But rendering arts and graphics, that doesn't matter. Obviously, is client side. So it all depends on what area we're talking about. Lumens is the new lighting system, which has a little bit higher baseline value cost, but it also makes it look next gen. But there are several areas that we're heavily optimizing to get a huge optimization performance back and even better. We don't plan to have a UI to indicate the weather. So you will see temperatures, right, on your characters, and that's it. The rest we want to show with in-game visuals. Like, you know, obviously if it rains or snow, that give you an indication also of temperature, wind, humidity. That is all cues that you can see by effects in the game. And we hope to be able to stay like that. We want to have a minimized UI interference. And obviously there will be feedback, like, you know, it's too dry or too hot or too cold to cast certain of those spells that rely on those requirements being met. All right, let me get the video I'm talking about here. I just got it finalized. Let's see. Maybe we can put it here. One moment. See. Fancy road sign, eh? Indeed. Great. Yeah, I didn't. Alright, let's see. Okay. Did you hear any sound here? One moment, guys. We should have some sound also. Did you hear sound? Okay, okay. Sorry. It was not. I didn't hear it. Why didn't I hear it? So just a video, yay? Yes. So as I said, this is not coming in next patch. So we have it in a separate branch. So I just made a cycle of the weathers. And in the next sprint again, as in the third, that's when you will have it live. Yeah, one moment, guys. Like I said, I'm a noob when it comes to this. I would like to hear it myself, so I also know the volume. Was it loud? Or let me see. I thought I had it. No, I don't hear it myself. Why don't I hear it? Let me see if I can make... Alright, I know I can do it. 1 second, guys. Yeah, I can do it like that. Right, one moment. Oh. Right. You got the sound, only you. Yeah, one moment, I will get it going like this. So I can hear as well. You record it on an old line. A level stream line, you mean? We're almost there, almost there. It's been a stressful day. It was in the last minute I managed to get this video. No, we haven't really changed. We haven't focused on spending time on the general lighting. That is going to be completely replaced with lumens. We focused on the weather effects only, which obviously has an impact, because obviously if there's a lot of clouds obscuring the sun, obviously that's going to reduce direct sunlight on the ground. So obviously there are some impacts from the weather effects. Okay. Almost there, guys. Almost there. Okay. All right. This should work. Oh. How the hell? How the hell? I'm spitting on my mic. All the secrets. No. Let me yeah, I got the file after I started the video. So I didn't have time to prepare this one. Take your time, Henrik. Yeah, no, sorry for me not prepping this earlier, but sometime things gets done just in the last minutes. All right, let's see. So let's get this one. Okay, I think I got it now. Okay. Yes. And wait, I don't hear anything. What the hell is going on? Why don't I hear anything? Let me check my properties. Okay, I guess I can just play it without hearing, and if it's too loud or you don't hear my voice, you know, you can tell me, right? I guess that works. Okay. Should we do like shall we do it like that then? Okay. Yeah, just tell me if you have sound at least so you can hear anything, because there should be some atmospheric background sounds that obviously adds to the immersiveness. Okay. Let's go. All right. So again, this is a sunny day, pretty much like what you have 99% of the time when you're playing live right now, right? And then you're gonna see the cycle, clouds forming, humidity rising, wind picking up, and then you're gonna see a hell of a storm, and then imagine a elementalist quickly changing the temperature to -degrees, which obviously gonna give you a completely new outcome. All right, here goes. And let me know if there's sound, okay? Because it's cool. Let's go. You can hear it, right? All right. All right. So as you can see, clouds picking up, wind picking up a little bit. A little bit of a fog, right? A little bit of a fog. Rain, darker clouds. Cool, cool. And just wait till you see a heavy storm, guys. The juice. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Imagine a team fight and pretty epic. And then an elementalist casting cold, freezing the temperature. You see what happens then. Like this fade out technology. Take a look at this. Take a look. Boom. The rain freezes and we get snow. Look at this. You can imagine having a fight, right, when we have these extreme weathers. Quite a twist. Winter. Winter is coming. Color grip. Christmas. Cozy, eh? This is Unreal 4, and you're getting this patch. In 2 patches, you're getting this system. No, the FPS went down 1 FPS with this system, so we made sure we are not crippling the performance. Now slowly clearing up again. The clouds are disappearing. As you can see, so the sun comes forward again. So the sun can actually be occluded by the clouds, which also makes it darker. Yeah. And now we're back to the sunny day. What do you think so far? So this is what we have currently, work in progress in Unreal Engine 4, and we're gonna deploy this in Sprint 3 already. Yes, we built this on an old machine actually. I don't know if it's 1060 graphics card. And going from this to the heavy weather effects, we're talking about 1 FPS, 1-2 FPS differences. So we made sure that all the on-screen effects are as optimal as possible. We pushed things to an extreme so it looks even more crazy. But that's also when it starts eating performance on the client. So we can actually add for those that have beastly computers, because this is mostly on the graphic card, right? If you have one of those juicy graphic card, because we are more heavily CPU bound right now. So if you have a juicy graphic card, we could add some of those effects as an option. You can toggle them if you want to go even harder. But yeah, this is our current baseline without breaking any performance in the client. So the baseline obviously you won't be able to disable, but as you can see, one of the cool factors is that Spike's not going to do the same thing every day, right? When you can see clear as day, and that's it. They're going to be foggy, mist, rain, snowstorm, everything. Is it better? So, can you hear me now? Yeah, sorry, I don't hear the sound, so I have turned it down. Is it better? Is it better, guys? Can you hear me now? Yes, great. Yeah, sorry, I didn't hear the sound. So, yeah, like I was saying, it's going to be very exciting to have different fights with different ranges when you can see things. Obviously, easier to hide and run around in a chaos and chaos. And obviously, when we have this extreme snowstorm, that's when it's heavily limited when it comes to what you can see. So yeah, this is what we got so far. I hope you like it. I thought they made an awesome job creating this so far. So we have a little tweak. There's a few more effects we want to add until we are ready in the Sprint 3 to deploy it. Bane Spike TV, thank you for the subscription. I'm late with what I missed. You just missed me explaining a little bit about the weather system, and this is what's running behind me here. A little bit work in progress still. There are some tweaks to be done. Is weather modification illegal? No, so there is a limit. So obviously you can push degrees, right? But you can't just push them to an insane level where you start hurt people, because obviously that will be total mayhem if you're running around outside Tinrem changing the weather to hurt people. So obviously we need to keep that under control. Johnner, thank you for the donation. Holy shit, Henrik, that weather is freaking epic. Amazing. I had no idea the weather system was going to be so badass. Can't wait. My only request is to try to help the poor NC players who can't connect right now. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. I'm also extremely impressed. I was my jaw dropped when I saw this is what they kind of, reached at this point. I didn't expect it to be that cool, honestly. So I'm very impressed. And yes, this is in Unreal 4. So yeah, like I said, we are looking into those specific cases that get disconnected from the server. So we are looking into what that may be and what kind of routing issues that may be. Because like I said, we have plenty of players with a constant 350 ping from Australia and across the world that haven't disconnected once, and they have a reliable connection. So we're investigating, and obviously we'll look into what we can do. Will this work like the old weather front system from Modern 1? So a lot of the codes when it comes to the biomes, the world temperatures and all that, we are reusing. That's the core of the system. What we did here is we implemented a little bit more fine-tuning elements. We have 3 components that determines a biome's weather effects: temperature, humidity, and wind. And those 3 components determines what happens. And then obviously up in the north we will have a more constant colder temperature, more common that it can snow. And then the further south you go, obviously we'll get more hot temperatures to more rain, and it will most likely not rain obviously in the jungle. So you will have those baselines and then some average random factors that can happen. We also have a season system obviously from winter to summer, that can have an effect to this. Like in the jungle it may be monsoon rain periods during winters, then more dry hot summers. Will heat affect the armor you can wear? Yes, but Milan will only have a small temperature span, so you won't be running around taking damage, and you won't take a huge impact on the stamina. So in the absolute coldest and absolute warmest, you may tap into the first step of small effect on the stamina. Some guy, thank you for donation. Can we get that background added to Steam's... where did it go? To Steam's wallpaper engine. It's good for promoting the game as well. What do you mean, Steam's wallpaper? I'm not sure exactly what you mean. So yeah, like I said, there won't be a major impact, but a mage can push it a little bit further in the penalty area, but not that deep that it start damaging a player. And if you push it further away from the nominal temperature in that area, it will quickly go back to that normal temperature because it's magically influenced in a temporary moment only. If that makes any sense, what I'm explaining here. Wallpaper app on Steam. Steam's point shop. Have to look into that. Have to look into it. Yeah, the volume control for the weather. So maybe there's room for a little bit, but we're trying to aim for realism, right? Obviously not having it being extremely annoying. And also when you take shelter, obviously the sound should also go down. We have a specific system where if you go inside obviously a roof or a building, you won't get snow or rain through the roof and buildings. And obviously the sound should also be affected. But other than that, we do want to have that kind of gameplay element and effect that, you know, you may not hear the enemies running around because it's a violent storm and rain. So in that way, it's actually a game mechanic that everyone has to adapt to and, you know, learn. They wanted as a wallpaper for their profile on Steam to represent the game on their profile. Yeah, I see. I mean, we will see if that is an easy possibility. I can't say for sure at this point. Obviously, we are all very busy to, you know, we have Christmas around the corner. We have some very exciting patches to deliver, and we want to stay on track, obviously. So we don't have unnecessary delayed patches. And this the wallpaper engine. I put it on a little note, and we will see what it may require from us. All right. What is this? CD changing the weather cooldown. You can change it non-stop. What is the range of the weather change? Yeah, so you can cast multiple spells to push it towards one direction, and it slowly moves towards that direction, and then it slowly moves back to the normal state. So if you want to keep it cold, you need to be active. Even more, obviously, if it's a hot area, because then you're further away from coldness. So, you know, and it may end up in a mage fight controlling the weather as well. We need puddles, snow, and blood on the ground. Yeah, so we have a system where we can actually change the entire world assets into the seasons as well. But that's kind of the next step that we want to add. It's going to take a lot of time for us because all assets need to be perfectly set to be able to support stacking up, like leaves turning different colors depending on the year, dropping the leaves to obviously puddles, to snow on the ground being collected, and on buildings. We have a support for this, and while we played around with this a little bit, and obviously that is awesome, and it will add that next level of layer when it comes to more persistent effects remaining, right? But it's going to take a lot of time for the team, and as many of you guys want, we need to deliver some other features first, such as TC and sieging. So but we will most likely revisit and add that component later on. 1.5 already came with built-in. Well, there's never anything just built in for Mortal Online. That's what I can say. Everything needs to go through our pipeline. So even though there are cool demos and tools, it's never that easy just to use that and enable it and think it's going to work, especially in an MMO world where there are rules being determined by the servers, right? So so there's certain aspect of that. But yeah, you know, later we will add more on that. Tamaron, I've commented on that several times. There are certain players with connection issues or routing issues that we are trying to identify that are getting disconnected, while we have crossed the world from Australia with constant 350 ping that never gets disconnected. So it's not that easy. It's not just that we have permanently removed one nation or something like that. But like I said, we're getting logs on all those disconnects, and we're taking a look to see what may be causing that, or if it's a temp fluke from routing that can change in the world also. So we are investigating. This rain looks awesome, by the way. Indeed, thank you. Look at this storm when you see those lightnings lighting up the clouds. I love it. Feels freaking amazing. So yeah, it's gonna imagine those epic 300 battles with this scenery in the background or in the midst. That weather storm makes the visibility pretty much gone. We plan on bringing back the darkness again where torches were needed. Well, I mean, so this is an extreme storm, right? Obviously, you're not going to run around and see this all the time. This is an extreme storm that won't be super common. And the same thing with this snowstorm here. That is a heavy snowstorm. It's going to be much more common with a normal bright day, a little windy. Sometimes there's a little bit rain. If it's cold, there's a little bit of snow. So that won't have a big impact on your game experience. But every now and then, obviously these storms may occur, which will spice things up, and you can take advantage of that or not. But no, we don't plan to add pitch black nights out in the world, since we have so much, like the two big moons that always emit a lot of light from the sun bouncing. So it doesn't make sense to make it pitch black all over the place at all time. That lightning do damage? Yes. If you get hit by the lightning, you take damage. It's rare though to get hit by them. But it can happen. How will the graphics card tackle this? So this is in real time. I actually used OBS to just render from the game. And this is from one of our older computers. I think it's on a 1060 graphics card. I don't even remember the CPU, but several years old. And we don't get an FPS hit at all when it goes from heavy storm to this. So that is very promising, obviously. We didn't build this on a next-gen computer. What the hell? Did I get disconnected from my chat? Yeah, I did. A moment. Am I lagging to you guys, or am I fine? All right. Great. Will weather affect the farms and harvesting? There may be some impacts, yes. Will FSR ever be implemented in the game? We plan to, yes. I don't have an update, sadly, about the rituals for houses, but we know we want to bring them as soon as we can, even before in-house numbers, if possible. No, I'm not saying we are waiting a month, Tamavron, when it comes to specific connection issues. We are gathering every single log from every single disconnect as we speak. We added that system exactly for that reason, because we want insights, we want eyes on what's going on, right? And we're going to go through those majority of those logs tomorrow to see what we're looking at. And based on that, we may do a hotfix that changes these values that maybe are solving it instantly. So we're working on that. There's no accumulate on players' maps, etc. Not now in this version. So nothing stays on the ground or on assets or players or animals. That is the next step, as I mentioned a bit earlier. We have prepared some areas, some assets in the game to support different states, like having puddles or having snow or different colors on the trees, leaves, etc. So that is the next step after this, pretty much. But we won't have time to do that now. This is required for elementalism, and then later on we will revisit to add those components. Are the weather transition in this video sped up, or will they be this fast in game? No, obviously this is sped up, right? So this is just to show from a wonderful day to some of the most extreme storms and to snowstorms. So obviously this won't be happening like this. And like I said, the most common weather state is a clear, cloudy day, windy, and then every now and then, depending on the zone, there's different humidity in all zones on Milan. You will see more or less rain, more or less snow, and then every now and then, when the perfect storm lines up, you may have this chaotic snowstorm or rain with lightnings and all that. So yes, it is sped up quite hard, and from the normal to the uncommon weather storms. I mean, as a mage, like I said, you can change the weather, which means it's gonna change quite abruptly and quite unnatural, and I guess pretty close to this. So if you're imagining a elementalist is constantly casting the different states here, it may look something close to this, going from one setting to another. So that's actually quite close, I would say. But that means someone is investing in those spells and trying to push it constantly towards the next level. So it's not natural. There's a routing issue through Frankfurt from NA West. This is months old. Is there any status of that? And if are there specific users from that routing getting disconnects? And all that kind of information is obviously helpful for our guys to try to gather, because obviously we added this function for reasons, right? And again, to protect the game. So we're moving forward in that, but obviously we want to make sure that there's not, players getting unfairly affected. Another one, Thorior. Thank you for the subscription. 11 months. Holy cow. Det är bra det, Luna. Ja. Lunisen. So with this new system, will there be a lot more ambient sound? Also, the jungle should get an ambient sound revamp. Yeah, we are adding more and more sounds. So along with these effects, you will have a update on the sounds, and you can hear some of those sounds here in the video. And yeah, of course, there are several areas, more ambience we do want to add also to bring life to the world. What kind of weather will we see in the middle of the desert area? I mean, if you're imagining being in Greece or Italy, Spain, I would say a mix between those regions. So usually a little bit more hot, dry. So I don't think it's too common that it's snowing there. It can happen, you know, but how much FPS this weather cost? Like I said before, we did this on a low-end machine, and there's always a good bonus in building some of these things on a old machine, and that's because if we get it to work there in a solid, decent performance, we know we're covering a wider client user base. And like I said, I think we're using a 1060 card on this one for 2050, so a few generations old, and there's no major impact. I think it was peaking like 1 to 2 FPS less when it goes from this without any weather effect to the heaviest rain. Yeah, from a Joe can't respond all the time, Demo Man. He may be asleep now even. It's been a long day for him, so the team needs some rest after a long day. But obviously we're back tomorrow early. And then Farmer will look into those logs to see how they are looking. So when will we expect this nice rain? In sprint 2, you have it on the roadmap. We actually moved it earlier, 1 sprint. Ooh, John Doe with the Prime. Thank you very much. And Dump a Fanat with the gifts. Killing it. Thank you, thank you. I know it's just that the pet changes have come, but can you please talk a bit about if you plan to make undead zombies follow the same as pet, because they are last 15 minutes but they don't keep up? Thanks, Henrik. Yeah, they are a little bit different from the normal pets, and we are looking into possible changing, having the same follow mechanic. So we are investigating. So hype for elementalism. It's a killer school, I can tell you that. Now every single mage fan out there that wanna play a pure mage, having a versatile options and real projectiles and crazy spells, and even having the ability to control the weather, it's gonna be insane. There's nothing like it, and I'm pretty sure you will enjoy it. And tell me more about how cold it will be in a few days. Sir Rob, thank you for the subscription. Oh man, 50 months. Look at this beautiful weather system. When do we get this? In Sprint 3. You have it on the roadmap. So it was planned for Sprint 4, but we moved it actually 1 month earlier because we are very close to be done already. And I think it helps us to actually release it 1 patch before Elementalism, just to make sure everything is solid. So we actually put it 1 sprint earlier. So next sprint patch we deliver is Sprint 2, and then it's Sprint 3. Also, what would be the interest of changing weather other than reducing visibility? Would it help crops grow faster? Could it drown enemies' crops? Would it make enemies get stuck in mud? So good questions, right? So right now, obviously, you will have the natural cycle slowly over time and not too extreme. I mean, it depends on where you are, right? So a mage could obviously reduce this heavy weather if the group wanna, clear up the visibility range or something, or if they are in the most extreme area on Milan, which actually have a small impact on stamina. If they want to remove that impact, they can actually clear up the weather 1 notch, and you can enjoy your stats rig and a little bit more efficiently. There won't be a big impact, like I said, on Milan, so it's not a huge thing, but that could be used for that, where you can have that upper edge, having an elementalist assisting with that. And then, yes, obviously, when it comes to sieging or fighting, you may want to change the battlefield, right, for your needs, which obviously gives you this tool as well. And like I said, the elementalist, there are some very powerful spells that you only can cast if these requirements are met, which obviously forces you to either find that biome where the weather is met, or you change the weather to meet that requirement if you want to be able to cast those spells, or you can't cast those spells. And then the final thing that you comment on here. Later on, as you know, we are adding farming, cropsing, specific TC features over time also. So there's a huge list, right? You won't have everything on day one. We have certain base focus that we need to get right. And then over time, we will add more and more. And yes, some of these things will affect some of that ratio and efficiency. So even more over time, there will be effects tied to this other than what we will have initially. You have a Belbus down there? I don't think so. We see a Belbus. And imagine now it's also, this is the set same day, the same time of the day here. So the sun is like, to the left here. You see the God rays a little bit, the sun rays, which is being obscured by the trees, which is a really nice effect. But when time passes, it looks even more spectacular because everything changes. Those effects in clouds looks a little bit different depending on time of day. And during night, it looks insanely cool as well. I wanted to make a night cycle as well, but there wasn't any time, sadly. But yeah, there's it looks really cool. I was blown away with the results after the work the artists have done and shown me when we started to finalize the effects yesterday. I didn't think it would look this cool. And like I said, look, this is Unreal 4. We're really squeezing the life out of Unreal 4 now before we, take the step and commit to Unreal 5, which obviously pushes things even further when it comes to the visual effects. Does the money you get from streaming go back into the game dev funds? Yes. Everything you donate, buy game, subscription, all of that goes straight back to development. So you are obviously, by doing that, also helping giving us more resources to bring in more developers and just speed up the process. It's called Mediterranean, Henrik. Yes, the Mediterranean area, the Meduli area, that's correct. I just gave some examples of, yeah, that's the same thing. I'm falling behind, I see. It was quite a while ago. I talked about Italy, Greece. Let me scroll down. So sorry for missing questions. What do you consider decent performance? I mean, 60 FPS is a big mark line for most AAA games on consoles and all that. And obviously now we are moving forward with 120 FPS solutions as well. But for many, many years, 60 FPS have always been a good baseline for a lot of games where everything just works. Then, of course, then we can talk about CS skills, the Twitch skills, where we want to crank those 360 FPS Hertz monitor skills, right? That's a different ballpark. And this is not that type of game, and we don't really rely on that kind of FPS either. There's a lot of calculations, physics. This is a large-scale dynamic. You can do everything in this game. It's not just all about shooting things, right? So obviously, we always try to optimize the game to be in a good, solid state, so the combat always work, and we have heavy focus on optimizing characters on the screen. That's where we want to be in the front in the world. As you have seen, we have done a lot in that area already with the last battles that you guys have showed us, with about 400 people on the screen, and been quite impressive performance. Even though we know there's a lot more we can improve, which is going to be obviously helping a lot even more. So that's going to be exciting to push it forward. But the baseline is pretty solid until you visit some location like Medulli, some other cities that is worse. I mean, there's even a color code in Unreal Engine. When you are at 60, it's green, perfect, everything calculation works. When you go down to 30, that's when you go into the yellow range, and then you have the red under that when things isn't smooth, and that's also when traces and stuff like that can start to do hiccups, and that's when your fights may be affected. So as long as we are up on the green, we're good when it comes to traces, at least. But then of course it always feels better to have a high FPS, right? Show tornado. I can't show that yet. We are still working on specific effects and specific elementalist effects. And yeah, there are tornadoes. So obviously there will be more things soon. Yeah, of course. We obviously we aim to have the baseline higher than 60, right? But we also need to consider that this is a next-gen MMO, and it's called to be one of the most beautiful MMO ever, or currently. I mean, and we are stepping on to Unreal Engine 5, so we are in the frontier when it comes to visuals, right? Even though we always prioritize performance. But then, of course, people say, the performance is dropping, and when we ask his, computer specs, and it may be a 5 to 10 year old computer, then obviously there will always be an impact on performance, right? So sometimes we also need to kind of draw the line that it is a good looking MMO and it's meant to look, quite impressive. So yeah. But like I said, running this on a 60 FPS without any, it was capped at 60 FPS and it didn't really drop. Going from clear weather to heavy weather, it was still on 60, and that was on an old CPU with a 1060 card. That's good. Obviously, if we were crashing the performance on that older specs with just the weather effect, that wouldn't be good. Talk more about Elementalist's primary cost. How will it be done? We haven't yet decided. We still have some more time, obviously, to decide final things when it comes to balance and skill points, the skills. But so we have two options. So it's still gonna be. It's looking to be either 4 or 3 primaries to fully master Elementalism, and then there are a few secondary skills under those. Because Elementalism is such a large school that each group is huge. You can actually become a semi-elementalist and focus on one thing only. And you're going to see more when I have a plan to do the elementalist stream eventually. You're going to understand what I mean with this, that you can actually become partly elementalist because it's a big school. There's a lot of content in it. Make the game not crash every 4 hours. What do you mean? I haven't crashed since, what, a year since I played, and I don't see many crash dumps. I see a few crash dumps from the community, and those have highly clocked specs, which means the driver stops responding, and that's not in our hand at all. So if you crash every 4 hours, then something is wrong for sure. Any date for Sprint 2? No. We won't set any dates. That just put a lot of stress and pressure on us, and if we want to protect the game and release it as solid as possible when we know now we've done everything we can without that time pressure, and or the possibility of disappoint the community. I think it's safer to not set dates beforehand. And now I see the same questions again, so I'm slow again. Sorry, guys. And in future plans to switch Unreal 5? Yes, very much so. If you go to our website, there's a roadmap. And as you can see, we are working towards reaching our big milestone, which is Unreal Engine 5. That's the last patch sprint on the roadmap. So yeah, we are looking to be the first MMO in the world in a large-scale game running on Unreal Engine 5 now, if no one else pop out of nowhere and beating us to that plan. I don't know, but I don't think so. But there is client crash pretty regularly. Is that when you log out, you mean? I know there are some logout crashes with AOS, and if we restart the game quickly, and that's all in Epic's hand. We don't have access to their AOS codes, unfortunately. What about Elementalist in city? Can they control weather in it? Yes, wherever we are in the world, you can control the weather. Stamina working properly, noticing I have been going through it faster running and streaming. No, I haven't heard anything about that, and that's quite a sensitive thing. I think I would be bombarded if that had changed, but no, we haven't touched the stamina in this patch. Yeah, it's on logout, no biggie. Yeah, as I suspected. There's asset creation coming at least with Unreal 5. Yeah, but the question is when, right? I think it's, what is it, 2, 3, 4, 5 years away. I have no clue. I think we add an option to enable sounds from the game when the game is in background. I'm not sure. I think that could be an option, but I'm not sure when we can look at some of those so-called additional quality of life options. What's the difference DirectX 11 and 12? I mean, visually, there's no major differences. There's some differences in how memory is handled. So overall, you should always use DirectX 11 if you have a decent new computer and things will run better in general. Obviously, if you have some problems with DirectX 12, you can always try 11. Also, if you have an older machine. What about utility items and magic, like Pocket Lantern and Magic Ball of Lights? Elementalism will obviously add option to that. And then there will be more over time, yes. I can't say where Fist Weapons fits at this point yet. We have full focus on the current roadmap. There are some big, very important milestones on that absolutely everyone is demanding for us to deliver. And we need to deliver them good. And there are several things more that is not listed on the roadmap that come in each sprint. So we're trying to be careful not to stretch anything here or risk quality. Yeah. We will most likely tweak some trees and models, especially now when we move into Unreal 5. We will be working a lot on the world terrain. It will be a huge rebuild of a lot of that. And that's also a huge optimization for the whole world performance. So mountains, steep slopes, some big trees, props, stones and stuff like that. There may be updates quite a lot in those specific areas. How hard will it be to learn elementalism as a magic school overall? Not too hard, actually. So as a baseline, there will be about 3 main areas spread out on Milan, which have knowledge about certain things of the school. And if you go to these school master NPCs or such, you will have information of how you can start learning, being an apprentice in those fields. So those will be directly known. There will be mage academies that you will visit. And then, of course, there will be also additions to this spread out in the world where you can find additional optional access. So it won't be one of those rare, unique, difficult schools. It's meant to be pretty straightforward that you can start your journey. There's a lot to it though, and it's very exciting experimenting with learning and mastering the school. Quite different from anything else. So I'm excited to hear your experience on that as well. Ashes creation is probably 2 years out, if even then. Yeah, it's hard to say, right? If there's one thing we all know when it comes to MMOs, it is a huge challenge no matter what size you are, what experience you have and resources you have. Every single MMO developer in the world that does a huge game run into many challenges and issues and unforeseen challenges and issues. There's no one that just slide through them all without any issues, including the biggest in the world like Amazon, Blizzard and so on. We all go through that gates of hell, especially initially when things pushes to the limits. So yeah, and I'm not too aware of who's behind Ashes of Creation, so I can't say when it comes to experience that much. You're not scared about spamming weather spell in the city? No, I mean, they will be committing casting those spells and it won't affect you negatively. I mean, sure, you may get a lot of rain or snow, but that's it, right? And it's slowly go back to the natural, so they must keep casting those spells if they want to keep having snow, for instance, or rain. And of course, it's just a certain region that they have the influence, so it's not the whole world or too large area that they are constantly influencing. And change weather will affect the aggro range. We don't support it currently, but there are several areas where that makes sense, right? Where you have less visibility, obviously the humanoids gets less visibility. So it is suiting, and it is, you know, a thing that speaks Mortal Online rules, right? But again, it's always a coder that needs to add those supports so we can tag all the creatures and how are they affected. For instance, if it's so an AI can actually detect you with noise, visibility, and is it smell also? So those areas together makes them detect you, and they have different ranges of these. They're different efficient. So obviously there needs to be a tag. Obviously we can, you know, the first step is if the visibility range is extremely poor, obviously an animal will hear you worse if it's a complete storm, right? So that makes sense also. So it quickly gets a little bit more advanced. But yeah, it makes sense to tag eventually all visibility aggro range may also get reduced when we are in those stormy states. But again, it's something we need to add on the next step when we revisit the weather system when it comes to expanding in all other areas, just to make it even more cool. Can expand a human quick draw clade. Excited. So we're looking into that function. It's something we plan to add as a skill in the game, so you can actually practice to become more skillful when it comes to being fast with your hands. Quick draw, pretty much in the name. And obviously we also were thinking, considering if this could be a bonus that also fits the humans, possible as a gift. So we dug quite a bit in this function, and sadly it's a huge rabbit hole, and it requires some of our seniors to dig deep to make it happen, or make quite a bit of work. So it's not practical, as it looks right now at least, on the current sprints we have planned to add that function. But like I said, it is planned for, so it will come later either way. And there may be a small bonus that we could add later on, even though for the humans. So that is the reason why we may not add a quick draw now for the humans. But we are tweaking some of the clades, as we mentioned before. The Warcry, the team buff, is going to be much more powerful in a few ways. The opportunities will become the Cleric 2 expansion, so you can carry heavier armor with less penalty. And then, yeah, of course, the ally gifts reduces all damage, all AoE damage also. So that's an effective one also. Why is snowing and there is no snow on the ground? Where are snowdrift on the ground from the snow? Smart TV, as I mentioned before, that is the next step later on. So now we have a requirement. We need a weather system for elementalism. And, you know, we have the old weather system codes that we are updating now to work with Unreal Engine 4 and 5. So we're getting the weather system. But yeah, there are additional expansion that is, you know, when the effects get saved on the actual assets, like puddles of water or snow, changing colors on leaves and so on. But it takes too much time for the team to add that during these sprints. So we need to take it in steps. So whenever we revisit the weather system, that's what we want to expand it on further, but not in this first weather expansion. We're already bypassing every single game in the world with our weather system, even without that visual support, because we have a real weather system, a real weather system, like in real life, and you can control it as an elementalist, and it's all happening on the server. This game gonna look amazing on Unreal 5 for sure. That is correct, Deacon. It looks sick. What new mounts are we getting? Is that the Mulva or the Bronto? You will see, Feral Man. You will see. Will the Mulva have a higher carry capacity, or will that come with breeding? No. Along with Beast Mastery, all animals come with strength relation to their carry abilities. So that's actually coming very soon. Sprint 3. Um, will campfires be useful against cold weather? Again, we don't support that function, but it does make sense again that there's a small radius around a campfire. So we have a radius for the campfire that gives you a resting bonus, right? So you actually rest more efficient. Using that area to also increase heat makes sense, right? Or reduce cold penalty. That makes sense, right? So it's one of those other things that simply can be added to the long list of, yeah, it fits, makes sense, but a coder needs to have it on their table to make it happen. So there's always this battle of the prioritized order of things, right? There's thousands of features, content, and quality of life things that can be added to this list, and there are already tons of them, right? And that's also part of this game. That's the beauty of the game. It never ends, it never finishes. There will always be cool new ideas, new features, a lot of planned features that will take a long time to be fully implemented in the game over time. And then you guys are bringing up a lot of these cool ideas, like this one, for instance. Yeah, it makes sense. I approve that function, but again, it needs to be planned and put on the dev team. So yeah, that list can be. I mean, we are creating a real life world, right? Everything goes. So, and it never ends. That's the beauty of it. So now there's lift camp bananas in the air. Holy shit, how would that look? A flying elephant in the air. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I mean, sure, if it's a huge tornado, eventually we're gonna have flying things. But I'm not sure in these first states. There's so much support function that can be added on things, right? So we need to be careful not to overdo too many requests on the planned functions. Is no stacking possible? Not at this point, later. Smell? Ah shit, I'm 1 minute behind. No, detect factors from AI, right? I have a few components that trigger there when they spot you. Will all spells become prioritized or will they remain hit scans? Most new schools have prioritized and other types of rules, while the current ones are planned to be what they are, with some exceptions like Owl Search, the clouds you can release as a necromancer. They won't require targets anymore, along with elementalism, because elementalism gives us that function for all spells now and in the future. Let me jump down because I'm a minute or so behind, or even more. Give it to me straight, fellas. Is Mortland 2 worth starting as a new player right now? Zeros, though, why not? It depends on what type of game you're looking for. We are still quite early on, but every patch we're getting tons of both improvement and additional content to the world. And yeah, people have been very happy to see our latest patch and direction we're moving in. You can see the roadmap on our website where you can expect us meeting big milestones, and when we also are releasing on Epic Games Store. And with the Epic Games Store release, Unreal Engine 5 release, we are expecting a much greater expansion of player base and interactions and features and systems. And we already know there's a lot of players, old and new, that are starting to play the game along with TC, the TC sieging patch. And then a lot of players are going to start with the Unreal Epic patch. So it's up to you. Do you want to start earlier or in any of those steps? And of course, what kind of game you're looking for. That's what you need to ask yourself. Yeah, we're getting different types of vials also over time, from small to large. And yes, Bounty Hunter system, now when we see it actually work and people can have fun with it, and there's no, silly abuse of the system, we can actually rely on it, which we wasn't sure. And that means we are planning to expand it with rewards and additional tools and options. I can't say when this happened at this point, but yes, that will happen eventually. Upcoming next gen weather system whip, a lot of quirky words. When is it coming out? Also any ADA for TC. Alexander Shadow. So if you look on our roadmap, that's a very good indication of when you can expect things to come and in what order. So we just delivered Sprint 1. That was yesterday's patch. Next patch is Sprint 2. As you can see in the roadmap, what you can expect from that. And then you have a Sprint 3, which is the weather system and a new mount and a lot of other things. And then you have the next sprint is the magic patch, and the next one is TC. It's great so far. Thank you, Slayer. We were able to poison food eventually. Yes, poisoning is an assassination skill that will be added to the game. So we have a new roadmap sprint after, obviously, when we deliver the ones we have now. We're gonna see what we are focusing on that sprint. There's a good chance you will see assassination skills on that sprint. Effective poison handling that you can put both on food, in potions, and also weapons, obviously, and traps eventually. This is immersive. Yeah, they like the weather system, guys. So this is the best we could crank out of Unreal Engine 4, and I'm very impressed what the team managed to do. It's very sophisticated and advanced how it blends through the weathers using the three elements of wind, humidity, and temperatures. Those are the determining factors for what weather that happens. And then, of course, the elementalists that can control it. And it looks awesome. It's a whole new atmospheric feel and experience. So it's going to be awesome to have this in the game. And then, of course, going to look even more spectacular on Unreal Engine 5. Does M2 has a podcast? No, we have our weekly streams like this instead. and they are saved and time-stamped 24 or 40 hours after that get put on YouTube. Two years? No, come on, man. Have you seen how regular we deploy patches? We don't wait several months for each patch. We already deliver sprint 1 and we just put the roadmap on the website. You have a good estimation or guesstimate or experience from how frequently we patch, right? So again, we don't say any dates, but you get a good feel for how regularly do we patch, usually. Or, you know, that gives you the best indication. That's the best guess we can have when it comes to when. Wait, I just joined. What sprint are you in? We had delivered sprint 1 yesterday. So next is sprint 2. All right. I think it's time to so that was the weather system, and now we have, I think it's time for the, you know what? Let me start it. You know the what? One moment. I need to connect my tool. And we are connected. If you type in !MO2, you are in for a game copy chance. I will let that run for a moment as usual. And I will be scrolling up for some questions. Highly doubt TC will be as fast as the prayer sprints though. And you promised a public test for more people to get in and test it and try and break it before you put it live and we start losing our stuff. Yeah, like I said, we don't have any dates. And if we need more time on something important, then obviously we will do our best in making that happen correctly. We wouldn't like to rush or stress it out if we know this is not good or something isn't up to where we need it to be. But in general, like I said, you got a good feel for, you know, how regularly we patch in general. That's what I mean. Hello, Henrik, how are you? Nice weather system. I'm good. Guy Mouvla Blanche. Can we have something like no siege days, like on Christmas? What? So we disable siege mechanics, you mean? Movements between containers getting polished. We have polished it heavily, and we have gone from a lot of petitions to almost none. I think there's one container, the base container left in houses that is wonky still, but that should be it. Your inventory shouldn't be wonky anymore. or banks or stuff like that. That's have been reworked and polished on. Is the security system as you have spoken of the zone rules on the roadmap? Yes. There are certain or several types of rules actually common with areas in the world, from in cities to out in the world where a zone say nothing goes here, you know, in terms of criminal status or murdering status, no man's land pretty much, to inside cities where you need certain access to be here. You may not even be able to visit or speak to the banks if you are a criminal and not liked. You may not even be able to enter. And obviously there will be high access areas that you need to be very prominent to access and be allowed. So you know, that's a nation system. If you are liked, you can get away with a lot of crap even and get a lot of bonuses. While if you're disliked, you will obviously be spit on and you may not get access to certain things in that city. Takana, thanks, but I forgot about my drink today actually. Human, the supreme. Any news on Fletcher tables for House of Strongholds? No, not yet. Why do you want to change the weather? You don't like weather in Sweden? I live in St. Petersburg and have a similar weather. Nice weather. Yeah, I don't complain. I mean, we have a little bit of everything, right? We have a lot of darkness. Now we are entering the dark era of Sweden. It's dark all the time. And quite cold. But we do get some nice hot summer as well without too much extreme weather. But could be nice with a little bit more brightness on darkest day, it's almost not bright at all. So a lot of darkness and no D vitamins. But yeah, I like the darkness and coldness, especially when working and being in front of the computer. It feels better. And yeah. There will be a decay on destroyed structures with certain rules tied to that. So we'll be going through that with TC. Will there be a way to increase max standing with other factions? I hate to be locked out of my favorite town due to my clade and have no way to become an honorable citizen. There will be certain ways to work towards a nation. So there is one task, one of the last tasks on the sprint that is heavily expanding the whole standing point system on all clades. And also a whole new robust system that expand how you can work for the different nations in a more exciting way. So those that come straight from World of Warcraft that has no clue what to do, they can be working for the different nations, doing different tasks and get going. So that's also a good way for new players to be integrated in the free, dynamic, open world. Quite different from World of Warcraft or New World. Okay, should we give it like 5 more minutes and then we pull the giveaway? If you just tune in, exclamation mark MO2. That's a permanent ritual. Like I said minutes ago, no update on that one, sadly. It's one of those that we plan to add along with the house Namesh system, but we know you want it before that, even though it's quirky. So we put it on the maybe list. If there's time, there's time. If not, it has to wait. Henrik, I bought a small house, leveled it up to tier 3, and I want to move up to a stronghold. Destroying a house the only way. Currently, we do lack functions that helps with this. We plan to add demolish, upgrade states, and trade, selling house options. So yeah, right now we don't have any good way for you to upgrade it or demolish it, put it down. So that's something we're working on. So you will be able to take down your house. You can build a new one wherever you want. And trading it, like I said. More rise on horse spawn in area of cave camp place. It's really dead in that area. So we have a very good map now over the world, how everything is looking in terms of all kind of things are being spawned and creatures and such. And we have plans to expand on this quite a bit along the road towards the epic release. So yeah, you will see more horse types, you will see more spawners and creatures spread out, more threats like bandits and risers invading in different ways. So you can expect more in a lot of areas that have quite less of that. Is pet armor on the next roadmap? No, pet armor, we didn't put it on a sprint also because there's some uncertainties when it comes to some of the animation work we have on the roadmap. So again, we're trying to be careful not over-promising or stressing too much. That can, obviously sacrifice focus on the important ones we absolutely need to deliver. But there are several maybe and in between that may come a bit later or in some of the sprints. And when we get closer and know more exactly, we will try to update on that. And it also, like I said, depends quite a bit on some of our possible new developers joining in that can help with some of the minor steps, being integrated in the team and development. Yeah, it would be cool to be able to freeze waters, rivers, and lakes when cooling down the temperatures to freezing points. Again, something that can be looked into when we are revisiting the weather effects support. I mean, how cool would it be to freeze the lake and make use of walking on the lake in tactical components? So yeah, that would be awesome. Do you have an idea if or when you'll be tweaking bounty? No, I responded to that again before in the stream. We don't have the time frame. We just confirmed that it works. We tried it. We were unsure. It works. We're going to commit to it and expand on it and add more tools and options. But we don't have an exact time frame of this yet. With strongholds have area of control when TC comes. Yeah, we will. I guess we can most likely cover a stream based on TC and sieging a little bit further ahead, and we can be discussing TC and sieging. Please talk about some of what polish includes. I mean, in every patch, as you have seen, there's tons of polish and fixes going in. So that's always in the background and have been one of the main focus for a very long time now. So we are obviously gathering all reports we have and trying to fix as many as we can as soon as we have a repo on how to do it and what happens, have all the data so that it's efficient for the developers to actually work with it. So very detailed reports, even videos explaining things is extremely helpful for us to very quickly fix things. I mean, there are several areas that get affected in the ties to the features and content that are being added also, like AI, pets, pathing, behavior, movement. That is a big thing for the game, and that gets heavily improved by several of these steps now. For instance, we get the pet follow mode, we get beast mastery, we got AI pathing with now mesh in houses and around them. Those are part of some of the sprints, which obviously handles annoyances or bugs that ties to those areas. And similar in other things that we connect things to. And other types of mounts being added. Yes, sprint 3 has a whole new mount, as you can see in the roadmap. And we are building towards having the manpower to also start enabling all suitable creatures to be mounts, which means we're going to enable them many over time, so you can pretty much mount all suitable creatures. And the requirements are your size and weights, and obviously if you're on a good foot with that creature. And if those are met, you will be able to mount almost anything. Don't need more horses if auto pets will be rideable. Yeah, exactly. So in some areas where there may be quite far from horses, there may be other creatures that you can mount also. So there will be a lot of more options over time. I mean, we know the world is large, right? So having a quite efficient way to get up on your feet again and travel the world is something that we want to be quite reliable. It's an important part. but it should obviously support that important component when it comes to tactical positions in the world and transportations. But yeah, there will be a lot of options over time. See the same questions again, so I may be falling way behind again here. I'm gonna scroll down again, and then I think it's almost time to do the giveaway, guys. Any plans for 2-person mounts? Yeah, we plan to expand on that and wagons also later on. And that is also one of the components that we need for ships, which is an ever-growing feature people want. So obviously it's, we're getting closer when it comes to after the first roadmap. We have some high demand features coming after that also. That is exciting, of course. Explanation mark MO2 if you just tune in, and then I'm gonna roll it in 1 minute. Love to craft ships, and that you will. And that's something I can't wait to do also. Imagine crafting your own cool ship, design it with some secret stuff, secret components, secret weaponaries, and then go out, sail the seas, be a pirate, finding treasures out in sea. It's gonna be lovely. Gonna be lovely. All Sea of Thieves players gonna pop in and be pirates. Lovely times ahead. And hope for ritual and spiritual improvement. Yeah. Obviously now when we have put the bar very high for elementalism and schools moving forward, there are some things we want to add also and improve some of that in the old schools to get a little bit more balance and options, and then we can have a lot more schools coming. Is the wagons coming before TC? Thought they were needed for restocking towns or something. No, wagons would be obviously good and powerful to be able to transport a lot of heavier goods, which are gonna be growing over time with TC. But you will have some, at least one. That's that's the thing. You see that there's a one very big mount on the roadmap, right? That will have a lot heavier carrying abilities than a horse, obviously. So that's a good step, as an option towards heavier duty transporting goods. So that makes sense. When ships, sometime after this roadmap. We haven't set the exact order of things. But it's a, like I said, very high popular growing feature that will attract a whole new audience that have their eyes on this game. They know ship system gonna be a force to be reckoned with when it comes to compared to other MMO ship games. And like I said, I have quite a few contacts in Sea of Thieves players that have large groups, and they can't wait until we deliver our system because they love everything else with the Mortal Online world, but they want to sail the seas, and they're ready when that patch hits. So it's quite high on the popularity bar, and obviously that's an important thing for us, right? To try to cater to as many as possible in terms of what feature should go next, in what order. So it's quite high up there. So we have to see how we plan the next huge roadmap after Epic release. Can I have a ship as a solo player? Yeah, I mean, you will be able to construct and buy ships from very small to extremely large. Obviously, sailing one of those largest ones, you may be running left and right, back and forth to try to control that ship. So obviously that's a team effort, right? But a small boat, for sure. Or a small ship. And you will see some of that teamwork also with some of our CG mechanics, which is really cool. Will there be a VR aspect to the game? We will support VR sometime after Epic Game release, yes. There's a few things we need to solve. So yeah, you know, we plan to support it. It's a cool function. And there are room for when it's just awesome, like chill moments, RP moments, table game moments, guild meeting moments, when that can be really awesome. Just, you know, socializing in a city. Of course, there may be those that may be running around fighting VR, but I think that's going to be more hectical, right? But for sure, there will be a lot of cool areas where I think VR going to just be really fun and awesome. Just elevate the immersiveness level and socializing part to a whole new level. We need 200 more points, primary points, please. You have to wait for the vet system. Veteran. The veteran system that kind of gives you more expansion on your character. Multi-combat has been ignored since alpha. What gives? So there are a few things obviously that will polish to that system, which is the animation and how you reach when fighting from the mount. So, and as you may know, we have an issue with manpower when it comes to animation work, and we are struggling with, you know, where we spent those man hours on the requirements for our roadmap. But yes, the plans are to, you know, polish on the mounted combat functions, polish on the reach and animation so that feels as good as possible and as efficient as possible. So we know it's quite high up there when it comes to animation manpower. I can't say exactly when, because that may quickly change when we do get more animators. How will ships navigate around the Sarka bridge? Yeah. So obviously we need to consider how do you travel the world with ships when it comes to bridge, the different sea levels. There are some lore and some stuff that Mats have thought about how that may be done in terms of tools to elevate and move large structures like a ship. So obviously that's something that's gonna be finalized and ironed out more detail when the whole boat ship system start to be, you know, fully developed. I have a lot of salt in my hair, or not a lot of salt, but a little bit of a salt from a blue bottle. This salt of tears. You're going to have Beat Saber kids dominating PvP. Maybe the young generation surpassing us with that tech. That may be true. If you're talking about VR and ships, it's either a selling dream or just your team is spread thin. What do you mean? What do you mean by that, Cyber Jin? I mean, we already support VR. It's just that the user interface doesn't get rendered correctly. So that's already done. But obviously, we don't want to release a VR patch and say that's what you get, because you need your UI, right? And that's the work. And obviously, we don't prioritize that right now. So VR is not a huge thing, but it requires work from specific developers that we can't spare on that right now because it's not that high up on the list. Ships is a large system that is desired by a lot of players. So that obviously pushes it up on that prioritized order of desired and wanted features. So sometime after roadmap, that's gonna be worked on and put on the roadmap. I can fully support you buying assets for boats and sieging equipment to speed out the process. No, it doesn't work because we have specific components, right? First of all, you are constructing them yourself, and we are building gameplay around them, how you use them as a team. So no, there's everything that is matters on your component that you play around with are all heavily custom built, and it takes a lot of time. The only time we can buy or save time when it comes to assets is, quick sell assets, rendered stuff, rocks, trees, foliage, stuff like that. That doesn't matter, it's just there to fill the world to look realistic. But everything else is pretty much heavy customized and takes a lot of time, and we are a small team. All right, it's time for the giveaway, guys. Expedition mark M2, and then bam we go. Bam we go. Weather system affect boats. Oh yes, much so. I mean, imagine the waves will be heavily affected by the wind, right? And the visibility range, just as you saw on my video here. And the wind, of course, you will sail heavily and faster if there's wind. If there's little wind, you're gonna sail slower. So everything ties together. That's the cool thing with our systems. There's stuff behind everything. It's just not just fluff and for the eyes. Love this game. Wish you the best of luck and success. Thank you, War Poison. Do the draw, please. Yeah, I'm about to. Expedition mark M2, I'm gonna pull it. I'm just gonna scroll down now and be up to date. Roll the rig giveaway. How is it rigged every time? Yeah, we know how popular TC is in Siege, and that's been the #1 main feature since day one. It's just that I explained many times, that we fully understand the disappointment of pushing it forward so long, but we had to get server under control, large scale under control, since we noticed new issues occurring in those areas. And the beautiful thing is, it wasn't a long time ago now, or was it a week ago, since we finally saw proof and verification of large scale is now finally possible in an insane level without any sweat on the servers. So one very important milestone met. That was the plan, and that's a huge burden off our shoulders to have that finally in place, because that's a huge challenge for the team and any MMO developer in the world. And I think we are far in the top right now when it comes to performance and supporting insanely large-scale battles with insanely accurate traces, body parts, and visuals. So I'm very proud of the team, and I hope you guys enjoy it and appreciate the fruits of that work, because I was so tempted in being able to participate in your last big battles. It just looked insanely cool. I love that chaotic feel of a big battle. All right, let me scroll down. It's time, guys. Exclamation mark M2, and we're gonna roll it. Where do we have it? Where is it? All right, here goes, guys. Let's go. Tonight's giveaway. Good luck, everyone. Let's see who it will be. Good luck. Good luck. Talos won. I responded to your mount question already. Didn't you hear me 1 minute ago? Congratulations, Waffle Pocket 12. Congratulations, Waffle Pockets. Waffle Pockets. Rigged. You are here, Waffle Pockets. I see you wooing. That's a good sign. Waffle Pocket 12. Hello there. Grats to the key. Let me grab it for you. Will Waffle Pocket be added to the game in Sprint 3? Waffle Pocket will be added in Sprint... Was it the last sprint? Is it 5? Is it 5? Waffle Pocket. Your brother, eh? Awesome. Congratulations. Enjoy. I don't put waffles in my pockets. Google Waffle Pockets. Gosh, I would like to try this game out. Any chance for a playable demo? Arc of Fire. So sometime after the Epic Game release, we plan to add a free-to-play access on Haven. And that is an opportunity for anyone out there to jump in, try the game, start building on your character a little bit to get a feel for it. And if you like what you get, that's when you can commit and obviously join the real game on Mirland. We don't have a time frame for this yet, other than sometime after the Epic Game release. So it will be a while before that happens, but it will happen. Thank you, Waffle Pocket. Thank you. We were able to set complete sets of armor broker. I mean, there's plenty of quality of life functions that that we all want and need eventually. Again, just a matter of what order of things we add first. Every now and then we do updates to the broker system to make it better and more efficient. And yeah, we can see the need for being obviously be able to efficiently add sets, stuff like that on a broker. So eventually. Okay, fire, for sure, for sure. There had better be some kind of time on Haven. I mean, along with that free-to-play function, obviously we plan to put in some limitation on your character progression. So you can try quite a bit, get a feel for quite a bit. But obviously, the real thing should start when you commit and enter Milan, right? So there will be some limitations, most likely, on your character progression. Do any of you guys play? Yeah, we are a few in a team that want to play as much as we can. But want and can is two different things, right? I spend all my awake time in the development in one form or another, which often makes it just difficult to get the time to jump in and play. There's been a session when I play with my some real life friends, and we had a blast playing together. That team feeling, playing with friends, is just unique and awesome. I love it. That's one of the reasons I play MMOs, because yeah, I simply don't want to play alone too much. I enjoy having a cool moment with friends or other people. The social part is really nice also. So yeah, there are several ones that play every now and then. So we have that insight also. And like I said, I played so much during the Combat Beta. I had regular weekly group fights with everyone playing then, and that was super fun. Had a lot of fun with everyone and get to learn people joining in those groups. That was just very fun. I'm missing that, so I plan again. You know, whenever there's a time when I can get more time to do stuff like that, I plan to jump in more and more also. Henrik plays and gets kidnapped at least once a month. Yeah, but there's usually a tendency of group conflicts around me when I jump in, and that's obviously something expected. If I do that on a stream, there will always be random encounters, pretty good and bad, and you know, it's part of the experience. But obviously, a little bit different experience when there's a stream going on like that. So, but yeah, it's a little bit different from obviously when I go online without being on the stream. Are we going to be able to carry multiple weapons and switching between them faster, and you will? Yes. So if you were here part of the early Combat Beta, we actually had another window for the secondary setup of weapon combo. My plan was exactly that. Kind of like, you know, in Diablo, when you have this, you can toggle between two weapon sets with just one button click. That was my idea behind it, to make that more efficient, to giving you options on your playstyles. Then we added all the different hotbars functions that kind of gave all the support for it, but not in an efficient, proper way. So we need to revisit this to make that more efficient and convenient. We know it feels clunky. I know for myself when I'm playing and running around changing setup, it's not super smooth and not very fast, right? So we will make it more smooth, more efficient, and we plan to, like I said, even connect it to a skill where you can even be even faster than the average after that. So yeah, that will happen. The question is when and how we reach it on our upcoming sprints. Yeah. It needs a polished session, that's for sure. Giveaway? How are they giving a giveaway? Call me games. I just gave it 1 minute ago. To the waffle pockets. To the waffle pockets. How will that affect human quick draw clade? So like I said a little bit earlier, we looked into if it was possible to support a quick draw in a reasonable time frame, but it's a much more complex gift to add, and it wasn't part of the initial plan. But we looked into it to see if it was possible, and it's not during our sprint. So, you know, one of the steps obviously that is quite important is the polish on the swapping weapon. It needs to be a little bit more smoother. And then we plan to eventually add a skill, and possible still after that a clade on human if we still think it fits. But at least there will be a skill option to increase it a little bit more if that's something you're relying on. Is there an update on Unreal 5 and streaming yet? It's been a while since I have played. May I have missed this already happening? No, I haven't streamed more about Unreal Engine 5. Whoa, that was a loud one. But we have made, we're almost finished with the new weather system. We pushed the crap out of Unreal Engine 4, and it's already supported in Unreal Engine 5 and gonna look even more spectacular there. But if you missed it, guys, if you just tune in, I could show you one more time a weather cycle. It just looks amazingly, I think. You want to see one more cycle in the amazing new weather that you're getting in Sprint 3. And we are approaching Sprint 2. We just delivered Sprint 1. Would you consider changing animal care to secondary? Yeah, we are considering a few tweaks. Yeah, let me show you the weather. Look at this beast. So this is what you get today, right? Sunny, bright days, not much going on. A little trail in the grass. And then look, the clouds shaping up. A little foggy, eh? A little misty. Those clouds. Now we get some wind. Some wind kicking up. Look at that beauty. Look at that beauty. More clouds, dark clouds, a little rain. Got a little rain. Everything is synced on the server. Amazing new updates to sounds. Getting a little bit more rain, a little bit more cloudy. This is in Unreal 4. So you're getting this in Sprint 3. Look now. Holy shit. Now it's pouring down. We're getting so much fog and crap going on here. And we have full cloud covering the sky. So you see it gets dark also because the sun is fully obscured. And you see those lightning strikes now. Boom! Did you see that cloud lighting up? Just like in freaking real life. I love it. Artists just blow my mind when I saw this. I thought, what the hell, are we already in Unreal 5? No, what the hell, it's Unreal 4. Not gonna lie, looks dope. Complete game changer. It's gonna add a whole new atmospheric feeling to the game. Look at this. Look at the freaking lightning strikes. Look at the lights, guys. Get goosebumps. Boom! Look at it. Have you seen these in an MMO before? I have not. I have not. And there's three factors here: temperature, wind, and humidity. And now imagine a elementalist casting coldness. So they're freezing the temperature. It's quite warm now, right? Now he's freezing the temperature. Look what happens when you freeze the temperature in this zone. You have these lightning storms striking down. They can even hit you. You can take damage from it. Look at those lightning strikes. Holy shit, I love it. I love it. And now imagine the coldness came here. Do you see that? So the rain freezes and you get snow. So you can do this as a mage. You can turn it cold. So instead of rain, it's gonna snow. Look at this snowstorm. It's ridiculous, guys. Look. Imagine this. Walking around in a freaking blizzard. Holy shit. Holy shit. crazy. Now we're calming down the wind a little bit. You see here? Get a nice winter vibe. Wind slowing down. Storm settling down. Winter is coming. And now we're cooling it down even more. It's more and more smooth. And you start seeing more and more, right? The mist, the snow is clearing up. And now we're slowly getting back to a more clear day. Clouds is clearing up. Look, how beautiful is this? How beautiful is it? Beautiful. Look, the clouds disappearing, and we're back to a nice sunny day, like I have it today on live. It's gonna be out of this world. Imagine all those experiences and scenarios battling with all these different effects. It's gonna be really, really awesome. I can't wait to see your screenshots and videos having those spectacular fights and a freaking lightning storm striking down next to you. It's gonna be awesome, like a freaking movie. I love it. I love it. So what do you think about it, eh? Elementalist out of mana. Holy shit, this is amazing, most beautiful MMO on the market. I think you are correct, Fo. I haven't seen anything more beautiful MMO-wise on the market, period. And this is still on Unreal freaking 4. Soon it's gonna be even more sick. Is there nighttime snow? No, I was actually planning to do a cycle also in making it nighttime and show you that also, because some of the storm, when it's night and the storm goes crazy, holy shit, it is even more spectacular. But I didn't have time to show that cycle also. So, but yeah, obviously imagine those lightning strikes going crazy during night. It's gonna be like a freaking movie. Stepping right into the movie 300 with the lightning strikes behind you, and you're fighting. Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. I can't wait. It's a game changer when it comes to that mirror. It's gonna feel and look like a whole new game. That's just how it's gonna be. Let it snow, let it snow. Looks like Sweden, eh? Seriously love how much Henrik loves this game. I mean, this is my baby, and seeing your baby growing up, taking those steps, it's a unique feeling, right? Unique feeling. Geeking out, of course. You have to be a little bit of a geek when committing your life work to these things, right? And it's the weather server wide or only specific areas at the time. So there are regions. The world is built up in regions. So obviously it won't snow in the whole world, because you have to look at Milan as you know, like a whole continent on Earth, which means up in north you have the cold snowy mountains, right? Down in south we have the hot beaches, the jungle. So there's obviously differences from far north to far south, from snow to sun to rain and all of this. So obviously if you are in one region, you affect that region if you cast spells to change the weather. Will this weather system be much more heavier on the PC hardware? It would be harder to run the game. No, actually, what you're watching here, we created all this on one of our older generation computers at work, which I believe have 1060 graphic card. The CPU is something equal to that generation, so it's nowhere close to the next gen hardware. And we had a baseline, it was stuck at 60 FPS, and we went from 60 to like filling down to 59, 58 when we changed to the weathers, and then it was pretty much stuck to 60. So we made it as optimized as possible to not drain too much time performance. And we can push it even further. You know, like we said, we push it even further so it looks even more insane. but that's when it started to affect client performance. So we said, okay, let's keep this as a baseline, and then we plan to add options in the settings. So if you have a kick-ass graphics card, you can enable those and push it even further to make it look even more insane without sacrificing performance for everyone else. Without DLSS. We didn't use any DLSS or anything. Yeah, it's what generation is it? The RTX generation, when DLSS can be enabled. So yeah, we run this. We created all this on our old computer, which is good, of course, because then we know if that doesn't struggle with these effects, we are quite safe in general. What will it cost me to enroll in summoning schools? I hope my college debt does not break my kneecaps. Summoning schools? You mean elementalism's summoning part? Elementalism is going to be the largest school yet, and it's going to be huge. And it's divided in a few groups, so you can choose to go full out or just partial elementalist. Depends on what kind of elementalist or what axis you want. Look at this. Look at this lightning storm here. I can't get enough of it. Look at the clouds. Look at the lightnings. Imagine fighting with this in the background. And you just see players running out from the fog, from out of nowhere, and they just run to you because of the weather affecting the environment. It's going to be so cool. Such a different experience. And then, of course, we're going to have the, normal days. This is the extreme weather. It's not going to happen every time, everywhere, obviously. So this is going to happen going to be not too common. But when it does, it's going to be really exciting. But why can SPS looks cooler at Model 1 than Model 2? I don't know. Can't answer that for you. The ecumenical spells have no relationship with the weather. Only the elementalism schools have a relationship with some of the weather states. Great game, great vision. Screw the haters. You keep doing you, man. Thank you very much. SL, etc. Thank you. I mean, we love this game, gonna play this game, and it's gonna grow, and it's gonna be one of the best sandbox game ever, period. And anyone wanna be part of that, enjoying that game, it's free, right? It's free to choose to participate or not. Obviously, the game is not free, but you know what I mean. We don't have an exact time frame for when there will be a new continent. We do actually want to add an effect in ecumenical where you see an effect of the magical elements going straight to the target. We do think that's an improvement in form of feedback, see what's going on, and it's a cool thing to see, right? It is a hit scan instant effect in most cases, which means a real flying projectile was the number one question, why it is a fake flying projectile. So that's why we changed it to stop that never-ending story. But I think an instant effect to show the trace, I think is good. Oh. So that's something we plan to revisit to give that additional polish. Can you talk a bit about the elemental pets? I was planning to do a stream a little bit more focused on elementalism, when I can showcase a little bit of that. So I'm not sure if we're gonna go too much into it now, until we may have something cool to show and also discuss that more in greater topic. There is a giveaway. Yes, as you can see, you can't see it, but yes, we did. Any changes to the clade points? Only way to level up by combat. The expanded, more robust task system for the epic release on this last sprint will expand this and give more options to gain clade experience while doing task work. No update on the bull horse. We have the horses, as you know, so we decided that there's another mount that gives more useful meaning for the TC rather than the bull horse. So we're adding a whole new type of breed of mount on sprint 3, as you can see in the roadmap. And then, like I said, we are working towards making the work to enable, with the help of more animation work, to over time just add support for all suitable creatures to be mountable. Do you have a set date for when the game will become subscription based? So that's planned for the Epic Game release. That's the big grand milestone for everything that is put into the game that we require for that to happen. Yeah. That rain looks great. Yeah, thank you. I'm like I said, I was very impressed when I saw this, when the artists were finished with what we have now. There's a few tweaks and a few additional things that can be added, but we are very close to be finished with the weather system that is required for the elementalism patch. And then later on, again, we plan to revisit to expand on it. So like the snow stays, water puddles, leaves turning color, stuff like that. But that's not a requirement now, and also not for the elementalism. So that's something we're expanding on later on. Damn snow. I love the lightning strikes. Look at the lightning strikes. How it lit up the clouds. Did I miss the Mulva sneak peek? I didn't sneak peek the Mulva on this one. I'm sneak peeking the new weather system. As you can see here. Behind me. What will the Mulva differ in Mod 1 to from Mod 1 to 1? It's gonna look very true to our original concept. I can show some stuff of what we have soon. The beast. I know you got right. Thank you for improving pet following system. Now I have to go. The water system is outstanding. I hope to see it in action soon. Have a nice night. Good luck. Thank you and good night. Can we consolidate our multiple character when this happen? After release again, we're gonna evaluate the Diva system. That's what I can say. You want to deliver a ritual system that will be tweaked. The Quebec, along with Beastmaster, you're gonna see quite a lot of tweaks on all the creatures because Beastmaster enable new functions and player skills in an interesting way for players to use pets in a new way. We are able to add a tracking system to leave footprints and stuff like that. We just needed time, and we haven't prioritized it highly enough to happen during this roadmap. But those are things we plan to do eventually, and we can absolutely do them. So the question is, again, we always try to look what features and content does most players want first, so we get as much value as possible. So that's usually our guide of in what order of things should be added to the game. And the works are coming with bounty. Yes, there are coming more of that also later. I don't have the exact date or frame. Can you confirm your team is also focused also on glitches? Yes, every patch, as you can see. That's one of the main focuses in the background. I do like the direction the game is going. I will need to see it all in game, but I think this is rather positive position we are in at the moment. The increased loading distance and has changed the game for a good chunk of people. Yeah, we were overwhelmingly messaged when after this patch. Actually, the draw distance was a big thing for a lot of players. That's clear, and that's for sure. So yeah, it was a really solid patch overall. Good stuff. Onko, thank you, Henrik, for sticking with your vision all these years and giving us a unique experience. I've said it so many times, but the events, meetings, experiences happening in Mortal is really something you can't find anywhere. Keep on grinding. Thank you very much. We appreciate it very much. And yeah, it's exciting to take those steps and those leaps, and obviously getting the confirmation from you guys. That's what matters, you know. Doesn't matter what we say, right? It matters what we deliver, and if you like it, enjoy it, then things will speak for itself, and that's what we need to, you know, moving towards even more. If only it were red lightning. Red lightning, come on, man! We're not in hell yet. How long will weather effect last in the game? Like hours or minutes? So the natural biome weather is obviously much slower progress than this, and we won't have a cycle through all these extremes like this. This is a short time period where I cycle through from nothing to the most extremes we have currently. So, you know, it will be quite uncommon to have the most heaviest blizzard storm or lightning strike storm everywhere on Mirland. So the most common way will obviously be, you know, from cloudy to non-cloudy, some suns, a little bit rain. That would be a more common And then if you're up in the north, it will be instead of raining, it will be just, you know, a little bit snowy every now and then. But every now and then the perfect storm happens, and that's when it goes to the extremes. And then so it's a slow, nice, smooth transition. And then of course, Nihilis 1868, thank you very much for the subscription. And then of course, as an elementalist, you can more rapidly change the biome's weather. That's much faster, but it does go back to the default weather after a moment. Yeah, the ritual stuff is being tweaked, as I mentioned a minute ago at Waits TV. It's being tweaked and prepared also for the Beast Mastery functions. Please show anything of Mulvas. Someone told me it's a Bronterarium from Mortal 1. We will show you soon. We will show you soon. Weather effect looking sexy. Indeed, eh? Indeed. Seriously, PS has only one character in this game. Yeah, just like in Star Wars Galaxies and a few other golden gems. I mean, we redesigned the whole skill system and a lot of things when we changed the one character system, and it was based on the feedback from the first game, and people created multiple boring characters that didn't invest in and felt they had to make an army to assist their own with their crafting and gear and stuff. And we want to promote trading and you know, trade professions, player interactions, and much greater commitment and value in each character. That's why that is the approach this time. But like we said many times before, we will evaluate the Diva system a little bit later. Got to sneak peek the Bronto. No wind. Yes, there are wind, as you can see now, right? The leaves and trees are bending. There's a wind factor. There's 3 factors that determines the weathers: wind, temperature, and humidity. And as an elementalist mage, you can affect all those 3. Diva with an A. E. And it plans to make non-functional clade work before adding anything else to the game. So the ones that we know won't have any support really due to the changes in the standing system, opportunities, for instance, will be changed in next patch. But all the others will have use soon in any of the upcoming patches, so we don't plan to change those. We're pretty much set on clades. Minor tweaks. Turtle need a helmet. I can't say when the ritual circle goes into the game, sadly. Like I said before, we try to do it as fast as we can when there's a window for it. No hint on the breeding at this point. There's a lot of system to be supported in the TC as well. So many different features and structures that will give you new functions. Obviously, you'll be able to have your own breeding farm eventually. And obviously, for us to have the breeding farm, then obviously we need to have breeding, right? So we will see when it comes to that list of additional things we want to add to TC in any upcoming patches ahead. Makes me happy to hear. Tracking is a thing. Very few games does it. Yeah, I've seen it in a few games, and it's cool and interesting. And yeah, you know, there's room for that for sure. Immortal. can give interesting game mechanics as well between players. You know, trapping and hunting. You know, it gives more to that in an interesting way. Thank you for asking for 3 hours. Sorry, man, I do my best. Wind coming on Unreal 5. We have wind already. We have wind. And yes, we'll have this weather system in Unreal 5 as well. It will look even better. Oblanog are going to be resistant to cold with all that fur. So the clays have a natural pro-cons when it comes to the temperatures also. And then gear affects it additionally. And then some gifts also affects it, right? So yeah, those will be tools. And not only the weather, we're getting a new damage system along with elementalism. So any element spell that is temperature based will also get affected by that, which is really cool. So it won't be just a magical damage which you have to resist with Psy or other magical terms. It actually looks, are you a Blaine? Is it a cold spell? Then you will reduce a little bit damage because you can handle the cold better. You know, stuff like that. So it's gonna be interesting. Distance was a long time coming, and he all did good. Did good, pig. Did good. Had a battle after the patch, and it was awesome. Actually seeing the arrows fly in from the distance. Enemy archers, great patch. Yeah, I was so surprised that holy shit, there's so many things that you don't think about, right? Because you didn't have the animation data. You didn't see he's shooting you with an arrow on certain distances before. Now with the greater distances and we're seeing all the animation data, yeah, shit, we see arrows flying from super far away, and it's just spectacular. Spectacular. So yeah, there were so many additional bonuses that, you know, you may not think about at first, but yeah, it just was awesome. Red Lightning over GK. Come on, man. Come on. There will be something other than lightning, I guess. You know, we are, you know, the Rabaltar area. Mip with the gift. Thank you. Thank you. That looks beautiful. Are the new summons considered permanent pets? For the elementalism, yeah, there are a new type of summons, a completely new type. But they can be permanent. You will see. You will see how it works. We will show you. Your house was destroyed by a tornado. Yep. So Beastmaster will play a role with ritual pets. So the function we get with Beast Mastery, we can utilize on all pets where it makes sense, including necromancy. Among Bat, as I responded before, there are certain routing issues in the world that causes some players in the world to disconnect from the server. And then there are some cases where people are sitting on a wireless in the jungle thinking they have a reliable connection. We have a log system that logs everything, every single disconnect, and we're gonna look on them tomorrow, and we're gonna see how that looks and see what next step forward will be to try to fine-tune and improve that system to work as intended. We also have players from Australia out in the bush with 380 ping that play perfectly fine without any disconnects because they don't have massive packet loss or any other connection issues. So we need to look at the data first. And we're protecting the game for certain things. Can I have a golem? Do you mean elementalism golem? Because that system is being changed. to a type of familiar. There'll be other types also in other schools. Yeah. Coloscopio, as I said before, yes, we are focusing glitches, as you can see in every patch. Theory sneak peek, not yet. What is Bronto, Henrik? Is that different from Molva? I can't say at this point. Well, can you also hear the wind blowing? Yeah, don't you hear it? Don't you hear the rain? And you hear it now, guys? Do you hear it now? A new summons permanent pets, yes. High temp, low humidity, high wind, Darude, sandstorm. Right, I'm scrolling down a little bit. Have you read Overlord Light novel? No, I have not. Best patch ever, G45K. Yeah, it was awesome to see you first experience witnessing the great distance and having some fights. Seeing those arrows flying was awesome to see. Awesome. And you riding on one side of the river and another one on the other side, just very far away, was epic. Really, really epic. Hope there are some nice stuff for elementalism that don't want to be summoners. On Grim TV, you are in for a shocker. A complete shocker. The summon part is not that huge compared to the other part. I mean, first of all, you tap into a huge list of spells that are crazy in different ways. Just got here. Did we know why the server crashed a few times yesterday? Yes, and we have fixed it. We have done additional improvements on the server. Again, the server optimization is not really something you're experiencing on a daily basis. Obviously, you could experience and confirm the big battle optimization that works finally, but we're not done there yet. You know, we are taking big leaps when it comes to total capacity as well. We want to reach impressive numbers. We want to populate Mirland. So we'll work on that, you know, simultaneously. And there was some issues we found with those optimization that we have fixed. Will walkers be affected by Beastmaster? Yes. Pretty much all pets like that. You will have some additional control. Out in the bush. Out in the bush, eh? You know what I mean. You know what I mean. Very far away from here. Familiar that is a lizard. You can always tame hunter lizard or water lizard, right? And all creatures, including those that you think is a waste, too weak, will have a new interesting opportunity with Beast Mastery, because all of the species are getting new abilities that are interesting in different ways. No, that's not a diss. Living out in the bush, you know. My ears are bleeding. Why? Why are they bleeding? Tell me why. It's something too loud here. Henrik says something about boats, ships sailing. I mean, we talked a little bit about what we can expect from it, and it's sometime after the current roadmap. So it's quite a way, right? We have some things that we plan to dive deeper into in some of the upcoming streams that I know many of you guys wanna know more about also. Can you please increase the pet stable range by a few more feet? I mean, we increased it with 25 meters. That's half a keep. So then you're very far away from it. You should be able to have a stable close to getting access without any difficulties currently. How much can I affect in the world through being a weather mage? Can I freeze a lake? No, we can't freeze water at this point. That is planned for later. Build up of effects on ground and on assets, and eventually freezing water is something we would like to have, but that would be another session. It's not a requirement we have currently. I want to know about new islands and maybe pirates. There will be multiple islands and a sunken continent and other continents you need to sail to. And of course there will be pirates and sea creatures. Everything you would want when sailing the seas. And ship PvP, of course. But yeah, more on that when we get closer to those features. Will the maintenance be expensive like necromancy? No, it will be quite different. There will be mage academies that will teach you in 4 different ways, and then there will be additional world options. So rough estimate on Epic Unreal 5 launch. I'm sure this has been asked a million times. That is correct, and your best estimating guesstimates you will get by watching the roadmap on our website. You can calculate the order of things, and you can look for yourself how frequently we patch and use that as your best guesstimate. We don't set any specific dates at this point. But yeah, Sprint 1 is done, and we are moving towards Sprint 2 currently. Maybe we can talk about sailing. Will the humans see a return of 10 to all magic schools? No, it's too powerful because we're gonna have like 14 magic schools. That is too much, way too much power for a human. Because those magic schools eventually gonna be insane if you can have so much knowledge in the start already. Henrik, you're hyping me up for elementalism. I'm 100% committed to it once it's out. You're not gonna be alone. It's gonna be a blast. Every mage's dreams is getting very much fulfilled, starting with elementalism much more, since there's so much being added. But again, it's just one school. You have more But there's so much. Yeah, you will see. We will go through it in a stream, and you will see what I'm talking about here. What kind of option? Because we're getting certain functions that unlocks a lot of new magic possibilities. So it's exciting. We plan to add some furniture bonuses in houses. That makes sense, like skill gain, reading faster, recovering reserves, logging out and in them, and possible bounding to certain ways. There are things that fits that we plan to do. I can't say in what order. Yes, the giveaway has been done, and I'm about to ending tonight's stream. Actually, it's getting late here. Elementalism is the most interesting school of mage, then probably staff, though. I've heard tales of something called dragon magic. You have indeed. But yeah, elementalism is a very good school. Staff magic seems to be a very popular school that many want as the possible next one. We will do a community vote, and we will make it happen. There are many cool schools, so we will make a little presentation of what you can expect from the schools before you vote. And you're adding 40 new spells, but the keybind system can barely handle the current magic schools. Add more keybind options. Yes, we have the hotbars now, right? With how many it is. I mean, multiply with the 10, 8. Scroll through. So we have enough hotbars, but yeah, we plan to add hotkeys to give you more access. Yeah, since the elementalism spells are completely server projectile based, a little bit similar to arrows. Obviously, we are rebalancing the cost for that, depending on the difficulties of landing hits on the speeds of them and stuff like that. So, yeah, there will be differences for sure. Some trolls here about the sailing. All right, I'm gonna scroll down and then I'm gonna see we have some ending stuff. Nice bear, thank you. Definitely gonna wait for the future of this game. I will play Ashes Creation Flirts and hope by the end of Ashes you guys reach a playable state. I mean, Ashes Creation is many years away, right? So we are way before that game. So I don't know. I don't understand that statement. Yeah, I mean, Star Wars Citizen and Ashes Creation seems to be rumoredly a few years away, at least. And we are taking great leaps and are in a very solid, exciting state already, and gonna be in a even more exciting state in just a few months. Surpassing Model 1 and surpassing any other sandbox game. That's where we're heading in terms of complexity and feature-wise and visual-wise. So what's your element of prediction, Henrik? Water, fire, earth, air? We will have them all, right? Oh my god. Sacrifice, thank you for the subscription. Thank you. There's no option for pet, kit, and unplayable. Please fix it. Oh no. Just joking. Keep it up. Seb is awesome too. Thank you. Yeah, of course, we don't have the kittens, so may not be playable for some. Thank you. Where Star Citizen is going, it's gonna be another 48 years. Yeah, that can be accurate. It could also be that it's too risky to release it because they're making such a fortune on selling ships and just keep doing cool stuff. That's the pretty good business model. But yeah, question is if it's gonna become a MMO with MMO support. I don't doubt it because they have all the resources in the world, right? But yeah, we will see. You guys are better than those guys. That's why I say. All right, thank you. We do our best. Our season is still very broken. What? They are 600 million bucks. Yeah, they are insanely backed. Insanely backed. It's the biggest backed game, right? And yeah, they seem to be moving very slowly forward. I haven't seen the MMO solution yet, so I can't speak of what may be. But no, I don't know. They said cool ships, at least. Just trying to take cheap shot at you, Henrik. Motu is playable state and in good place. Thank you. Starts in this awesome tech demo. It is. It looks really awesome. It looks awesome. I was interested until I saw a few game promises that kind of let me down a little bit, though. So I don't know. Great to see epic progress being made into the game, especially in the big battles. Any idea which sprint we can expect some more content in the west of the map? You will see, Shrabi. We plan to add quite a bit more spawners and stuff in upcoming sprints. And like I said, there will be points of interest, there will be elementalism, there will be a good spread for sure. I wish you would get 1/4 of money Star Citizen has. You guys do a great job for that you have. Yeah, that I can't even imagine if we got 1/10 of those guys' budget. Then yeah, we will put them even more to shame. We do a lot with nothing. I'm very proud of the team and what we managed to do so far, even though there have been major challenges, no doubts, and problems. But we keep our heads up and we will reach those finishing line and put the game on the world map with you guys supporting us. We've had patches every month since July. There are 4 sprints left to TC. Are we getting sieging for a month? I'm not confirming anything, but that is your guesstimate, I guess. Aware of all search hitting amounts? No, it sounds like that could be a little issue, yes. So I'm sure it's reported and it should be somewhere in our lists when it comes to polishing some of that. This weather season looking amazing because of the heavy snow and heavy rain. Usually in games weather it's super light. Yeah, and we also want to incorporate actually gameplay impact, right? Your visibility range gets hindered. You have to adapt to the environment, and you can hide and use that to your advantages or the opposite. So I think it's interesting, and also because obviously it's not going to be super common to have the extremes, but whenever it does happen, it should be an awesome experience, right? All right. The jungle needs more points. Yeah, all regions in the world plans to have more points and specific content and more creatures in general. So, slowly but steady. Yes. And I'm really happy to hear from a lot of you guys that reach out and reward the team for an awesome job for adding a lot of cool points of interest, making the world feel much more alive and interesting. So it's awesome to hear that feedback from you guys also. The team highly appreciates hearing that, obviously, since they're working very hard on those things. The wind forces push-pull with weather and elementalism. Yes. Sieging for a month. Yay. No, you didn't hear that from me. Alright guys, I think this is it for me. A little night snack before it gets too late. Yeah, assassin class is coming later, right? With assassination skills, poisoning, traps, and stuff like that. So there will be so many more styles supported over time. So yeah, you know, we have some big core groups now, but there will be more specific groups. You know, assassinations, thievery, many more new mage schools, new weapon special moves, new weapon groups. There will be a lot over time. Everyone gonna have something they love. That's for sure. All right, this is it for me. Let's see. Do we have anyone streaming today? Do you have someone that we should raid, perhaps? What do you say? What do you say? What did I miss? The whole stream. Let me do the usual vote. That's easiest. So all right. Cast your votes. Cast your votes. You're in control. Yeah, click the vote and click it, and I will make it happen. Kralken, Avira TV is in the lead now. Found ups, he's not even streaming Mortal like, or the only requirement I have is must be Mortal Online, right? Thanks for the weekly streams. It does a lot to make us feel involved and listen to. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you appreciating it. That's obviously a requirement, I think. As long as you appreciate them and want us to keep doing them, we will make it happen. I've done quite a few now over a good period of time. Been quite consistent. Avira TV is the winner. Alright. Did you ban me from voice chat? I don't ban anyone. I'm not the moderator. If there any question for that, contact the support or the mods or the GMs and they will assist you. We have very proper structure and guidelines for that is being handled. So please consider that. Alright. I will be rating Avira TV. You voted and I am rating. Alright, so thank you very much for tuning in, and I'm glad you enjoyed the new weather system that is coming in Sprint 3. And I will see you on the next stream. Let me find a raid button. Where the hell did it go? There it is. Alright. again, thank you very much for all donations, subscription, and your questions. And I will see you on the next stream. And I wish you a good night. And here we go to Avira TV. Let's say hello to her and give her a follow. And I will see you soon. All right. Thank you and goodbye.